Well, hi there, and welcome back to me channel. If you're new here, my name is Rusty, and this is me channel where I talk about my favorite movies, mostly horror, and my favorite music, mostly metal. And we're going to do my little Halloween week. These are the movies that I chose to watch during this week, and I've had some fun. These are all new watches that I've not seen before, and yeah, so definitely my first impressions. And we're going to start with, no surprise in the description, The Devil's Candy. This release, it actually comes with a cool two-sided insert for you to choose which one you want to be displayed. This movie is distributed by Scream Factory, IFC Midnight. So yeah, Scream Factory. The Devil's Candy was released in 2015, directed and written by Sean Byrne. It stars Ethan Embry, Shiri Appleby, and Pruitt Taylor Vince. So yeah, there you go. Now, this movie opens with Ray in his bedroom, and he's playing a red flying V. This is a very metal movie. It's got a very heavy metal soundtrack. So we have Vince, who is hearing these weird voices, and he is banging the guitar. His mother comes and screams at him, and you kind of wonder because he's obviously like middle-aged, and yet he's still living with his mother, and she's screaming at him to keep it down, and he keeps saying, "I have to play it loud, I have to play it loud," obviously to drown out this demonic voice that he keeps hearing. So she screams at him that, Daddy will be coming home, and she shuts the door. He promises to keep it down, at which point the cross on the wall starts freaking out, and she goes down the stairs, and the dad comes home and finds her dead body on the stairs. Now, we then sort of switch to, I guess it's probably a year later or two, a couple years later, and we are introduced to Jesse and his daughter Zoe and his wife Astrid. He is a metalhead, but he is a painter, and they are going to buy this house. So they come and see it, they move in. The daughter is also a big, giant metalhead with a Slayer shirt. That's how they introduce her. There's a cool scene where they're driving in the car to go see the house, and the dad and her are listening to like really hardcore Pantera, and that makes the mother's like, "Can you play something a little softer?" So it's supposed to be a very metal movie. As far as the soundtrack goes. And the dad is really cool looking. The daughter's cool looking. I'm a metalhead, so we're good to go. And so they agree to buy the house, and they move in. And the real estate agent, this is in Texas, and so I guess they have a law. I know that some states do have a law about house histories. So he comes clean and tells her that according to the law, he has to tell them about the deaths that have occurred in the house. And he says that, but it's okay because it was only an old lady who fell down the stairs and her husband. So, well, like most people would, they underplay it. So in the meanwhile, though, we start seeing Ray. He's checking into an apartment complex, and boy, is he creepy. I mean, he is really creepy. And I can't think of the other movies that he's been in, but he's always creepy. He has what I've always called dancing eyes. I remember seeing a guy with those when I was probably like 13. My grandmother had let a friend of hers kind of take one of the rooms in the house, in her house, sort of like a boarder for a month or two while she got herself straight. And she took me with her to a neighboring town, and she went to some friend's house. And it was too young. Now, let me tell you, I've always wondered about this woman, but they were young guys, and I don't know. I think that there was drug activity. I think she was into drug activity or something. I really don't know what was going on. I was a kid, but I can still see that guy's face to this day. It was he looked about 22, 23. He had the cool 70s hairdo, like the guy from the Partridge Family, David Cassidy. But what I remember is his eyes when he got close and was talking to me. He had the eyes that did that danced. They sort of dance back and forth. And that really creeped me out. And this guy's got those. So that brought back a little childhood flashback there. But he's checking into this place, and he gets in trouble by the cops because he's doing the same thing. Because, of course, you're hearing this demonic, creepy demonic voice that's going on in his head. And, of course, you kind of think schizophrenia. But then again, this isn't a schizophrenia movie. It's a haunted house movie or a demon-possessed house. This is definitely in the Amityville horror type genre. So, the family that has moved in, he is also, it doesn't take long before he too begins to hear this creepy voice, and he's turned this outside barn type area into a painting studio. And he's painting these, you gotta make a living, so he can't paint what he wants. He's taking commissions from like motels and stuff. You know what those paintings look like. So he's not exactly happy with what he's having to paint, but as the voices start getting to him, he starts painting this really dark pictures, and he paints this really black metal type picture of an upside down cross. It's actually a really cool looking picture. And takes it to an art gallery that had previously, representative, who had previously refused his work, but they like instantly fell in love with it, and they were kind of creepy too. But so yeah, he starts painting these kind of disturbing pictures as his mind starts being affected by this demon, which obviously it is. So Ray actually shows up one night and knocks on the door, and the girl Zoe answers the door, and she's got I don't know if it's real or not. I mean, she's only like 16. I don't know if you can do that with your parents' permission or not, but she has a flying V tattoo, a red flying V tattoo on her arm. Now, this is what this guy's got, right? So he's like, I've got one like that. And he, of course, is acting all creepy, but she's really friendly. And they start talking about, metal and stuff like that. And then the dad comes in and, like, shoos him away. Like, you've got to get out of here. And all Ray keeps saying to him is that he wants to come home now. So they end up, like, calling the cops. And the cops come and kind of give them a little info, that was the guy, the son. And that, if he comes back, to let them know, and that they will be staying outside. This lady cop will be staying outside to watch them that night, but they suggest that they, maybe go stay in a motel or something for a couple of days while they find this guy. So, You then see a scene where you find out that this Ray guy, he is like watching, obviously, like a 17-year-old with maybe their 10-year-old little brother, in swinging at this, like in the woods. And he comes up, and they never really tell you what happens to the older boy, but he knocks the young boy out and kidnaps him. And he takes him back to his apartment, where it's pretty disturbing because the kid's awake and screaming, and you see him like dressed with plastic sheeting, and he's got a big hacksaw, and obviously he's going to cut this kid up. So Jess continues to get worse and starts painting. He had begun this big painting of butterflies for a motel, and interestingly enough, when Ray kidnaps this little blonde boy, Jess paints that blonde boy's head on one of the butterflies, and he starts turning this painting into this really dark painting with all of the butterflies now have heads of children on them, and there's a picture of his own daughter in like screaming in flames. So he also ends up adding this absolutely devilish creature behind them with like about 8 eyes and stuff, like looking over the. It's a really cool picture. You have to see it that he's painting. And you then see Ray burying a suitcase in the woods, and he pulls out all these other suitcases and throws that one in the bottom, and he's like burying him. So you're like, oh my god, this guy he's obviously been kidnapping and killing kids for a while, so he's some kind of child killer. And so Jess ends up taking photos of his new work to this gallery, and they don't really elaborate too much about this gallery, which we'll get to the flaw of this movie at the end. But they actually are interested now in his dark pictures, and the guy wants to come and see the painting, which he does. Jess is almost late because he's supposed to pick up his daughter at school. He doesn't get there on time, and his daughter Zoe is missing. Now we find out she's been kidnapped by Ray. And he's doing all of his, I'm going to have to do the thing I don't want to do now. He's telling me you're the one. And so you're like, okay, this is this demon that's controlling him, speaking to him in his head. And Jess is obviously connected to this situation because he's being affected too. It's interesting that neither Astrid nor Zoe hears the voice or is affected by it. But in any event, there's a really good scene where Jess smartly manages to get away, gets out of the masking tape, gets out the bathroom window. He almost catches her. So that's pretty exciting, that scene where she gets away with that. So now they've had to report all of this to the cops, and the cops really are like, you have to leave. Okay? You have to leave and stay away from this house. So they start packing up, and the 2 cops are outside. It's the same woman from the other event. They're outside guarding them while they're in the house, and they're going to leave the next morning. So the 2 cops are outside to like keep them safe until the morning comes when they can leave. So the cops also explain to them the back history. that Ray actually had done this when he was 12 years old, that he had bashed a girl in the head with a rock and was trying to bury the girl, and that he was put away in a mental institution for 20 years. That explains the beginning of the movie, because you see why he came back, why he was there, and, now he had been out for a year or two. And obviously, did the demon kill the mom? Did he do it? I don't think that he did it. I think the demon did it. I think they made that pretty clear. So they end up telling, them that this is a serious situation, and because he had kidnapped her, that they want to put them in the witness protection program and move them away while they found Ray, because they didn't know where this dude was. Well, Ray shows up, and he kills the two cops ugly, and he comes in there and he shoots Jess. He shoots the mom, and gets the girl. He's got this gasoline with him, so he's pouring gasoline all over the place, and he takes the girl upstairs. Where he is going to burn them to death. Now, Astrid comes out of the closet where they had been hiding, because he had not managed to shoot her correctly. And he starts to do it again, but he's out of bullets. Well, he doesn't care. He throws the gun down. He takes her upstairs, Zoe, and lights gasoline, lights the petrol on the stairs. Stuff starts burning. Astrid is trying to pull Jess out of the house, doesn't know whether he's dead or alive. She gets him to wake up. They get outside, and he ends up going upstairs into the bedroom through the window to rescue his daughter, where, Ray has set the room on fire with a big circle around the bed, and him and her, which used to be his bed. That's where his bed had sat. So, and that was his room. So he's doing this final sacrifice type thing, and the dad manages to get in and bash him to death with the actual flying V that he had left for Zoe, because Ray earlier in the picture had actually left the flying V and a Marshall stack on the yard for her, and she convinced her dad to let her keep it. So, yeah, he manages to get to Zoe after he bashes Ray's head in with the guitar, which is pretty metal, and then she manages to jump to him over the flames, and they manage to get out, and there you go. It ends with him being outside. They're all safe now. The three of them are safe, and then he starts being pulled into the woods, and he goes out there into the woods because he keeps remembering what he told his wife about that painting, and that was that he felt like these children were inside of him begging to be freed. So he's just like led out into the woods near their house, where he finds this mass grave and starts digging out the suitcases. Now, I was hoping that last little blonde boy would have still been alive, but then I guess not, because I don't think there's any way for him to have lived through a hacksaw. You know what I mean? So he starts digging up the suitcases. A bright light appears before him, and for a second I thought, is this some kind of religious thing, But it didn't go into anything like that. I guess he had now freed them, so he had freed them from their grave, and the movie ends. So I really, really liked this movie. This movie was excellent. My biggest complaint was that it's short. Anybody who's been in my channel knows I absolutely hate short movies. If it's below 90 minutes, you got a problem with me. And if you start creeping below 80 fucking minutes, you really got a problem. Stop being so fucking lazy. You know what I mean? And some people I've heard say, well, they only need enough time to tell the story. There's no reason to add filler. No, it's called character development and stuff like that. So to the director of this, I would say, dude, what was up with this art gallery? Okay, what was up with the art gallery? You made the representative and the president who came to the house. You made them so creepy and yet explained absolutely nothing about them. There's some story right there. I think this movie is an hour and 19 minutes, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and so you actually got a point or two knocked off for that, because you left stuff that could have easily been. And I know I've heard all of the fan film people and other people talk about, well, budget, budget. I'm sorry, but if you found the 20 grand to film the last 10 minutes, you can find another 20 grand. Go work at McDonald's or something. You can find another 20 grand to give me another 20 minutes. Okay? This movie needed another 15, 20 minutes. You needed to incorporate this gallery, this art gallery, the Belial, which is a demonic name right there. What was up with this art gallery? Why did you make them have the reaction that they had to those paintings? Why did you make them act so creepy? And yet they were just in those few scenes, and we never heard anything else about them. So you missed an opportunity there. You missed an opportunity, you missed some opportunities, and that is that this movie should have been longer. And I'm really tired of you people and your 80-minute and your 75-minute stupid-ass movies. Okay? Give us the story, because there was definitely stuff in this movie that needed to be explained and expanded on. Anybody who watches this movie is going to wonder, what was up with that gallery thing? Why was that part of the storyline even in this movie if you weren't going to use it? It was just like a couple of actors and a little subplot that went nowhere. What was the point of them? So, but I really did love it. I mean, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10, which, that's like, if it's 7 or above, then I liked the movie a great deal. I really loved the soundtrack to this. It's Metallica, it's Pantera, it's Goya, and it's is that all? I think those were the big groups in it. Goya, Metallica, Pantera. The credits roll with my favorite Metallica song of all time, which is For Whom the Bell Tolls. So that was cool to end a good metal movie with that. So yeah, that's The Devil's Candy from 2015. I really loved it. It was too short and had some stuff untouched that should have been touched. So you had some stuff there. Now the reason it's called The Devil's Candy is because that's what Ray had told them, the cops, back when he had first got in trouble, was that that's what he called the kids. He had to feed the devil his candy. And the kids that he murdered, that was the candy that he was feeding to the devil. So that's the reason why it's called the Devil's Candy. And there you go. I will be right back with another next on my list. And thank you for stopping by. If you've seen this movie, let me know what you think about it. If you're a metalhead, you will definitely love this movie. We don't have a lot that is centered around us, but this is one of them. And I love this soundtrack. So yeah, I'll put some of the soundtrack videos on the end screen here, and here, and here. And that was a hiccup. And so, yeah. Goya's Blackfire video will be at the end of this, which is also one of the special features in this. So yeah, I will see you in the next one. Thank you very much for stopping by. And that was the Devil's Candy, and I will see you in the next one. Love you, miss you, bye. Always remember and never forget, you're a very, very special person, even if you're not demon possessed. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.